When I was in high school, I was bullied a little bit.
I was
and
a
I wanted to
scribe.
prove to other people that
I wrote down, they gave me
This
the
is something
schedule, and I
that I
wrote
did.
down multiple
I
copies
just loved that it was
for the
quiet
drill
and
instructors to wear in
beautiful.
their hats.
It was
It's a
easy
long
to get
story.
to
We left
anywhere
in World
Germany.
War II when the Russians...
Welcome to this training video for the My Life, My Story project.
By now, you're probably familiar with how our program generally works. In this video, we'll get specific.
We'll show you how we here in Madison's VA Hospital line up interviews with our veterans.
In general, we'll be covering three major areas. First, how to find veterans to interview in a hospital setting. Second, how to sell the program to veterans. And third, what you need to do before starting your interview. So, let's get started.
The first thing we do each day is go to the floors where we interview patients and get copies of that day's patient roster. Next, we go back to our office, check our database to see which patients we've already interviewed and which have previously said no to us. That's really important because we don't want to waste their time or ours by asking them to be interviewed again.
After we've updated our rosters, it's a good idea to ask nurses or other staff for suggestions about veterans who might be interested in our program. Nurses know their patients better than we do, and they usually give us great tips about who to interview.
Next, just before we enter rooms to talk to veterans, we stop outside the door to see if they are in isolation. Signs at the door should explain whether you need to wear a gown and gloves before entering. But always ask a nurse if you have questions. Also, always remember to foam in and foam out as you enter and leave a room. Now comes the hard part, finding someone to interview.
For all of us, from a first-time volunteer to a seasoned interviewer, it's difficult to walk into a stranger's hospital room and ask them to tell you their life story. But like everything else, you get better at it with practice.
Hi, sir. How are you today?
First things first, when you walk into a veteran's room, introduce yourself.
My name's Thor.
Ask the veteran's first
That
name.
was in 2000.
Maybe sprinkle in some small talk. That's up to you.
Once that's done, you need to explain why you're there. This is your chance to introduce what My Life, My Story is and how the program works. Everyone's spiel will be different, but here's how each of us do it.
Hi, Ms. Smith.
Yes.
Hi, I'm Seth. How are you doing today?
Great.
I'm here from a program called My Life, My Story, and I wanted to stop in today and see if you'd be interested in participating. Basically what we do is we offer to interview veterans here in the hospital, and we offer to write up their life story. And the idea is that your story would then go into your medical record for doctors and nurses to read. So the idea is that they would know something about you as a person as opposed to just why you're here medically.
How it goes is we interview you here. Usually takes about 45 minutes. And after the interview, we write up a story. It's based on the interview, based on what you said. And once we get that story done, we bring it back to you, and you get to review it. So you get to make any changes you want, additions, you know, it's really your story. So it's really up to you what you want to share.
Couple of advantages to this. One of them is that once a story is complete, if you're interested, I'd be happy to make copies to hand out to family and friends. Another thing to remember is that if at any point, including once a story has been written, if you decide you don't want to continue with the process, that's fine. It doesn't get put into your medical record, and it's as if we've never had a conversation. Does that sound like something you might be interested in participating in?
After making your pitch, it's time to gauge the veteran's interest. In general, you'll get 1 of 3 responses: yes, no, or maybe.
Often these responses are situational, based on the vet's current level of pain, boredom, or drowsiness. The veteran who says no at 9 in the morning could be a yes at 3 in the afternoon.
In the following clips, we'll show you how these yeses, nos, and maybes might look in practice.
So does this sound like something you might be interested in trying?
Yeah, it sounds really great.
So I'm going to grab a chair, and then I'm going to have you sign a consent form here to get started. This is a hospital, so you always have to sign a form first. Is this something you think you'd be interested in trying?
No, not today.
Oh, that's totally fine. Thanks for taking the time to hear about the program. So any idea when you're getting out of here today or later today? Or is
Later this afternoon.
Later this afternoon? Okay. Well, hey, good luck. I hope everything turns out good for you. Thanks again for the time.
I don't know, would you be interested in doing that?
Yeah, I'd be interested in doing something like that.
Okay. Are you getting started this afternoon? Is that what you said?
Yes, I believe
okay.
so.
So what we can do is, if you want, if it's okay, we'll start now, and then if you get interrupted, we can always finish it up later. See how
Okay.
it goes. So what do you think? Would you be interested in doing something like that?
Well, it sounds like an interesting program, but I think I might need to just talk to my wife about it first, and I'm not sure if we have enough time today.
Oh, okay. All right. Is she coming down to pick you up? Or are you getting?
I believe so.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, how about if I give you this brochure?
Okay.
Okay. And that sort of describes the program.
Okay.
It also gives you an idea of like the different kind of questions that we ask, and gives you ideas about what you might want to talk about. So what I'll do is I'll just, so I just want to point out that on the back of here, there's our info. So that's a direct line to our program. And then this is an email that you can use that also comes to me and the other people on the program.
I don't do email, so.
Okay, well, definitely the phone.
Okay.
We're there, and you can leave a message. And
Okay.
so if you have questions, you could call.
Okay.
And normally what we do is, for that, if you are interested, we would schedule it with another appointment where you're down here at the VA. So any questions for me at all?
Not at this time. I appreciate the information.
All right, well, thanks a lot, sir. Okay,
Thank you.
I'm glad you're going home.
Yep.
Does that sound like something you might be interested in participating in?
Well, not right now. I've really never talked about any of that Vietnam stuff before.
Okay.
So maybe later.
Okay. What would be a good time to come back?
Maybe tomorrow.
Okay. How about tomorrow morning? We actually have a whole series of volunteers who do the interviews, and I've got somebody in the morning. Could they stop by first thing to talk with you?
Sure, after
Okay.
breakfast would be preferable.
Good. And what I'll do is I'm going to leave you with one of our brochures. If you have time, you might want to read it over. Not only does it give you some more detail about the whole process, it will give you some questions to think about that you might want to answer. And so I'm going to leave that with you, if that's okay. And I'll stop by first thing in the morning just to check in again. And thank you for taking the time to talk with me today.
Thank you. Will this affect my service connection?
It will not affect your service
Okay.
connection, actually.
Good. Thank you. It's nice to see a friendly face.
Thank you. Does this sound like something you might like to participate in?
Yeah, I'm feeling a lot better today. I think I'd enjoy that. I've talked about my trauma to my psychiatrists and mental health people, and I'm more comfortable with it now than I ever was.
Oh, good.
So-
Well, also bear in mind, it doesn't just have to be about your military experience, too. We want to hear about your early childhood and family, if you are interested in talking about that, and career and hobbies, just to give you some ideas. Do you have time now?
Sure.
Great. Sometimes the best way to see if a veteran is interested is to strike up a conversation and start asking questions. After talking for 5 or 10 minutes, the veteran will feel more at ease with you and trust that the interview will really just be an extension of what you're already doing.
Once a veteran agrees to be interviewed, pull up a chair near their bed and explain that we'll need them to sign a consent form. Point out what they're consenting to, that a story based on this interview will eventually go into their patient medical record.
This is a good time to remind them that the story is private and stays within the VA, just like any other medical record. The veteran needs to print, sign, and date the form. After that, it's time to start recording.
Tell the veteran you'd like to record the interview so you can review it as you write up the story. Then, turn on the recorder and tape a brief intro to the interview.
Here in Madison, we say something like this.
This is Rebecca Rickner. I'm a writer-editor with the My Life, My Story program here at the William S. Middleton Memorial Veterans Hospital in Madison, Wisconsin. Today's date is January 1st, 2017. It's approximately 12:15 in the afternoon, and I'm interviewing Mr. Williams. Do I have your permission to interview you?
Yes, you do.
Great. We will get started.
So that's it. We hope this video has been helpful. As always, if you have any questions, contact the My Life, My Story team here in Madison.